Time, what is it? We use it every day but never question the existence of time. What if I told you time is just a measurement tool? That time actually doesn't exist. The past, present, and future are extensions of your consciousness. The past is currently in motion, the present is where you are, and the future is currently in motion in infinite realities. There's infinite versions of you doing different options, choices, and decisions and experiences. When people tell you about time, have you really thought about why is it so important to your life? They say time teaches all, but you're already a being that has everything inside of them already. So what is it really teaching you? For some of you who do not know, most of the days of the week, Saturday through Sunday, are based off of pagan gods. Even the calendar is incorrect. For instance, October comes from the Latin word octo. So how is it the 10th month? What if I told you there were 13 months originally, and the 13th month was called Orpicus? It used to be 364 days and 1 day of rest. Or it used to be a turtle calendar. Now, some of these may sound foreign or distant because you never learned about these. You learned about the Gregorian calendar, the calendar you currently use today. We used to be on the Julian calendar, but a Pope Gregorian wanted his own version, so he made a version which we use till this day. Time doesn't exist. Let me give you an example. If you take the words Sunday through Saturday off the calendar, and you take the words January through December off the calendar, how would you measure your time if you didn't know what date it was? If you took the actual numbers for time away, how would you know your birthday? How would you know how long you've lived? They used to measure by solstice and lunar and solar cycles. And yet we move to a calendar that constricts us in time. If you take these words from the calendar, then the only moment you would have is the current present moment. That's why they say the present moment is a gift. The only thing you can control is who you are right now. But since there's infinite versions of you, you can vibrate your essence into this being because you are already this being. You are already this being. Let me repeat. The only difference between who you are now and who you want to be is your mindset, your energy, frequency, and vibration. I spoke about this in my previous podcast, episode 1. If you want to be the person that you feel you really are, you have to adopt not only the habits of that person, the mindset of that person, you have to adopt the vibration of that person. When you hear people say energy, frequency, and vibration, energy is effort, frequency is consistency, and vibration is the motion to put it all together. As you continue to vibrate into this being you already are, you'll notice that the universe will give you opportunities in order to fulfill who you want to be. Your subconscious and your consciousness is a microphone. If you're always putting yourself down, I can never get anywhere in life. Nothing good ever happens to me. I'm always in these types of relationships. The universe hears it and it's like, bet, all right, sounds like that's what you want, so let me toss that to you. If you live your life in joy, happiness, and abundance, the universe will give you more of joy, happiness, and abundance. This relates to time because if you're focusing on the present moment, what you can control, you'll realize that A lot of external things do not matter. I'll give you an example. Whenever you see somebody go to the gym, they are a live version of energy, frequency, and vibration in action. The energy they put into the exercise, the amount of times they go to the gym, the visualization, discipline, and the written goals help that person become the being they see. When it comes to this and time, people say you have all the time in the world, but why squander your time even though it doesn't exist? Life is about experiences. It's about the understanding and awareness of oneself. If no clocks and calendars existed and time, how would you be living your life? Would you still be doing the same thing? Or would your life be completely different because you're focusing on what you have right now? Another key to this is visualization. People take visualization for granted all the time. But as you see the vision in your eyes and your mind and your consciousness, day and night, you meld into that person you visualize. As long as you're putting in the effort and the consistency. I'm tired of being the same way. I'm tired of doing the same stuff. Then stop. These repeated things is trying to either tell you a lesson or show you that you need to move forward. Some of us hold our own selves back so much, you miss out on opportunities. Some only come once in a blue moon. Some are every day. It just depends on you. When you look in the mirror, are you happy with who you see? When you look at your life, your career, your social group, your hobbies, is this really what you want to be doing? Some people have put years into things that they don't want to do. And it's okay. You have to understand, look at it and say, okay, this is enough of this activity. I'm okay. I've done it for long enough. I practice it, but it's not for me, and it's okay. Sometimes you have to restart. It's not an easy task all the time, but if you really want to restart, you have to question yourself. It's not always just about being happy. We get that confused as well. Happiness is a key, but you won't always be happy. You go through a myriad of emotions in order to understand more of who you are personally. I hear people say love and light all the time. It's understandable. We are light beings. But if you do not have darkness, the dark night of the soul, self-realization of self, self-actualization, when these things come to you, it's like a train running into a box of kittens. It makes no sense. And it's terrible. But if you understand, you have to take the kittens off the railroad track, which is you, in order to avoid self-sabotage. You understand more of yourself. What you are learning how to do is balance yourself. This is the concept of duality. There's a positive polarity and negative polarity to everything. Some people say divine masculine, divine feminine. It's the same thing. Just think of a AA battery. You need a positive side and a negative side in order for it to have a complete charge, right? It's the same thing with you. You need a positive side and you need a negative side in order to have a complete version of you. Some people expect people to be sitting in the forest, talking to trees, hugging them. I love the earth. That's cool. But in these times, you deal with so much other stuff. Sometimes that may not work for you. You may have to go hit a punching bag or uppercut a chicken. Don't do that. Sometimes you got to release those emotions in different ways. Some people write. Some people paint. Some people swim. Some people play soccer or sports. Some people build things. These activities help to balance you out. If you're a person that's had a hobby and you put that hobby to the side, being responsible, or you just put it to the side because you thought, oh, well, I can't do nothing with this, you denied yourself the ability to express your creative energy. Everybody has creation and imagination energy inside of them. How you express it is dependent upon you. That's why we have free will. Free will gives us so much opportunity to choose. Some people don't like to choose and like choices chose for them, and they wonder why these certain circumstances and situations continue to happen. You are in control of your own life. If you always blaming everybody else, oh man, it's their fault because you are projecting your inability to take responsibility for yourself. I hear it all the time. It's because of this, and this, because sometimes there's some circumstances or situations. But how do you work from those situations? Do you sit and dwell, or do you move forward? I've had plenty of times where I ask myself, why am I doing this? This is so dumb. And then I say, why? Why continue doing this? Let me let it go. And as soon as I let it go, the universe gave me more opportunities. This is why time is so important. Your present moment is what you got, man. So, I'm going to give you some tips in order to be a better version of yourself. Number 1, how often do you just sit in silence? I recommend 10 minutes a day. If you got to sit in your car, a closet, a room, wherever you got to do, 10 minutes of silence a day. No phone, nothing, just silence and your thoughts. It helps you to focus on your inner self. Some people may say, well, that sounds silly. Sit in silence for 10 minutes with no electronics and talk to yourself. Some people say talking to yourself sounds crazy. As you talk to yourself, your voice is a frequency. If you give yourself affirmations, you're hyping your inner self up as well as your outer self. I tell myself every day I have infinite abundance. I don't say I'm broke. I tell myself every day I'm full of love. Even when you don't hear from somebody, know that you're loved always. Because if you love you, then it doesn't matter if anyone else does. I'm not saying you shouldn't have people that love you, but if you love yourself, a lot of issues get solved. Another tip, sit down, get a notebook or a piece of paper. It's better with paper than to type it, because as you write, when you write, it's Morse code to your soul. Every time you tap the pen or pencil to the paper. And write out your dream life. Don't just put a dollar amount on it yet. Just write out everything that would make you happy or content with the life you want to live. For example, some people want to travel, right? How many of you actually go look up tickets, look up hotels in different places you want to go to? How many of you look up food prices? How many of you look up locations on Google and actually visualize yourself there? As you do these visualization techniques every day, closing your eyes, you are this person already. What do they do when they wake up? What are they eating? How are you producing income? What makes your soul flutter? What feels comfortable to you or simple or easy to you, like a flow when you do this certain activity or hobby? That's a match spark. When you feel that match spark, go with it for a little bit. And if it's not something you want to do, turn the match off and light another match. You can write positive affirmations to yourself in the form of already having it. It's called the law of assumption. One thing I gotta tell you though, as much as you write down and say these things, you do put in energy, action, and consistency, and the results will come even faster. Sometimes it's luck too. Don't let nobody tell you it's just all skill. Some of these people are lucky. Luck is a skill as well. Don't let nobody fool you. So, well, I did this and this and this. Hard work. Some of them people in life really got lucky with the opportunity, ran with it, and it exponentially took off for them. Sometimes you got to do that too. Not everything is A, B, C, D. But if you get a letter P, what you gonna do with it? Some opportunities are only once in a lifetime. Take advantage of what's happening and what's coming to you. So we have sit in silence, get a piece of paper, write down your ideal life. I'll show you how to calculate how much your life would cost as well. So wherever you are in the world, you have to pay rent. Unless you own, but you pay mortgage, which is still rent. So you take the amount of your utilities, you take the amount of your cell phone, you take the amount of your car payment and your insurance. And then you take the amount of the other things you want. For instance, if you want to travel, like I mentioned earlier, if you take in the account of how much hotels and plane tickets cost, you can estimate a number. So let's say I wanted to travel every month. That would mean I would spend maybe about $1,000 minimum. That's plane ticket and hotel room together. You add that to the list. Let's say you want to buy shoes every month. You add up how many pairs of shoes you really want to buy, and you add that to the list. Let's say you want to buy some herb. You add that to the list. You can make this list as long as you want. As you get the numbers for all of these different things, you add up all the numbers together and get a subtotal. You round that off to the nearest 1,000 or 100, whatever is closest to the most even number for you. After you get this number, you divide it by 30. That's 30 days. Then you take that same number before you divided the 30, and you divide it by 4. 4 weeks in a month. These numbers will give you how much you need to make per week, per day, per month when you add them up together, right? This is how you figure out the cost of your life. And when you figure out the cost of how much your life will cost, the next step is figuring out how to produce the income. There's a myriad of avenues you can take in order to produce income. You have to see what fits into your schedule, aka your experience, aka your time slot, quotations. This is how you manage life. Now, if you have children, it's a little more demanding, as you have to not only manage your life, you have to manage your children's life as well. And by manage, I don't mean take over their life and try to make them what you weren't when you were a little kid. Just saying, there's a balance to how you raise kids too. I don't have any, but I've been around a lot, and I just want to let y'all know that. Don't try to live your dreams through your kids. Let them be, so they can learn to be and express themselves the best way they can. Anyway, so you got your silence, you got your visualization, you wrote down what you wanted, you figure out the cost of your life, you got the income part of your life. So what's next? What are we doing? Action. You got your affirmations? Did you write those? An affirmation is basically telling yourself, I already got it. Every day, consistently, day and night. You could do it throughout the day as well. You already have it because you already are. You can do the affirmations all day. But if you ain't doing no work either, showing the universe you're taking responsibility for yourself, then you're going to just be requesting stuff all the time. You always put it into a perspective that you already have it. Always. As you put all these steps together, you'll start to realize, like, all this is me? I can do this? This is my potential? Yes. Some people be holding themselves back so bad and then wonder why. But there's no need to wonder why when you're taking the action. You don't have time to wonder why. You only have time to focus on getting it. At the same time, too, this is something I have to tell you. You don't have to have a purpose. A lot of people think you have to have a purpose. You really don't. This is why I said the concept of duality is important. Some people just want to live day by day and go with the flow. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you choose to want more, there's nothing wrong with that either. Free will's a mofo, ain't it? If you choose not to have a purpose, don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't feel sad like, oh man, I ain't do nothing with my life. I'm this age and I didn't do. Who are you comparing to? It's your life. You can start whenever you want to, or you can restart whenever you want to. You can keep yourself in the loop if you want to. Me, myself, I prefer not to keep myself in the loop. I'm okay with that. Because I've done it before. And it's pretty lame, to be honest. It gets boring. It gets tiring. Even though we got a lot of stresses already, you just decide what's important to you. If you had all the money you needed, what are you doing? Because you already are. I'll give you another exercise to do. It's called quantum shifting. As soon as you wake up in the morning, and I mean as soon as your eyes open, take a deep breath. Breathe in your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out your mouth. 5, 6, 7, 8. As you breathe in through your nose, you imagine the energy going down to your chest. It rotates in a circle. And as it rotates in a circle, you shift into the being you already are. The reason why you do it, as you wake up, your brain is still in delta waves. This is the perfect wave to be in to switch timelines. For some of you who don't know, every time you go to sleep, think of it as you pass away. While you're asleep, your consciousness chooses a timeline to go to. So when you wake up or rise, you flow into that timeline or space. You can also talk into water. Water retains memory. Dr. Masaru Emoto did a test with water. He put rice in 2 glasses. In one glass, he would say positive affirmations to it. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. And then the other one would tell it nasty stuff. You're trash. You'll never be anything, right? The water with the positive affirmations held together longer than the other glass that expired faster. This is why your words are so important. So before bed, another thing you can do is speak into water. Let's say you have your glass of water next to you and you say, I shift to the best timeline in my best vibration in my highest form. And you say it directly into the water. After you say it directly into the water, you drink it. The reason why you drink it is because who is made of 70 to 80% of water? You. So when you're talking in the water and you drink water, it's like you're talking to your body and your cells and yourself. Another activity you can do that'll help. Write down your ideal life on a piece of paper or take the one you wrote from earlier, fold it up, and set it under your pillow. You focus your intention on the paper. Say, I am everything listed. I will wake up into this vibration of myself, this energy of myself, and I love myself for doing this. As you do that day by day, the visualization kicks in. That energy, frequency, and vibration kick in. The universe kicks in. And as you proceed with action, it moves faster. Sometimes what you think you want isn't what you want too. Sometimes we over fantasize about what we want or over romanticize. But then when you actually do it, it's like, well, this wasn't what I thought it was. This is where that experience of awareness comes in. If you're aware that it's not for you, there's no need to continue. Try something else. You're a limitless being. You have unlimited options. Why would you limit yourself? Some people say niche down. Why? In certain aspects, it's good for developing certain things. I won't deny it. But at the same time, if you niche down, it's forcing you to be a particular way consistently. There's some people who like to do 4 or 5 things at one time. I understand that. It's all about balance, though. Most people tell you to focus on one thing. That's a good advice for certain people. If you plan on doing multiple things, focus an hour on that activity, then switch the activity. So let's say you like playing basketball and you like swimming. Well, if you play basketball all day, you'll probably be tired and don't want to swim. But if you say, all right, I'm going to play basketball 2 hours and then I'll go swim for an hour, I can do both in the same day. This is how you really multitask. Not trying to do multiple things at once, but you focus on a task at a time. It helps a lot, especially if you have like ADD or ADHD and you want to focus and do 37 things at a time. One thing I recommend is do 15 to 30-minute intervals of tasks. Since your brain wants to focus on so many things at one time, if you focus on smaller tasks in smaller intervals, it'll stop you from being bored so fast, and you're able to still get the task done as well. That's just my advice. If you feel like you don't attach to anything, you need to experience and try more things. Because as you try more things, you open up other possibilities to other opportunities you didn't know existed. Don't be afraid to fail. Failing is wonderful. Don't let nobody else tell you any different. The faster you fail, the faster you learn. But if you learn from other people's mistakes, it cuts your learning curve down. That's why so many people read books. Books are like having a mentor without the person actually being there, number one. Number two, the person went through what you need not to go through to save time, to use to better yourself in a faster manner. I recommend reading at least an hour a week. That's just minimum. Really an hour a day, but with time constraints and how people are and how you are, it just depends on how much. If you're a person who doesn't like to read, let me teach you how to read. You find something you enjoy reading, and you keep reading more and more of these things. And then you incorporate things that are related. So let's say I like comics, which I do. I love mangas. I read them every day. I ask myself, why do I like these so much? I like the storylines they provide. I love artwork. I'm intrigued by the characters. From these, you can branch off into other things as well that you like. I know a lot of us want to sit down at home and watch TV, but the TV ain't doing nothing for you. You want to be a couch potato all the time? But I'm tired. All right. So you tired of being a better you? That's on you. Like I said, you don't have to have a purpose. There's nothing wrong with it. But you got to understand that when you start complaining, and then you wonder why you stuck in the same place doing the same things, not progressing, that's on you. You're responsible for you at the end of the day. All the actions you take, all the things you do, it's up to you, man. Or woman, or being, whatever you are. Some people may not understand your journey, and that's okay. You understand your journey and where you're going. Some of those folks are going to drop off when you succeed and go higher. As you raise your vibration, some people, some situations, job just going to disappear. And that's okay. Just keep doing you and being the best version of you. I appreciate you listening to this short message. It's just to get this message out. It's up to you. Your goals, your life, time, all this is up to you. How you use it and how you process what you experienced. If you appreciate the information and want to show support, the money sign VOILAME for Cashapp, and TeamVoila VOILA for a donation if you want to show support, if this helped you in any way. Also, if you want to find me on TikTok, you can find me at Voilame Infinity. You can also find me on YouTube at Voilame Infinity as well. And if you have Telegram, you can find me at Soft Facts After Dark, all one word. And if you want to see me on Instagram, my name is Voilame _ VOILAME and _. The actual line, not the word. I appreciate you tuning in to episode 2 of the Voilame Infinity podcast. I'll have short mantras, affirmations, short informational and informative words of wisdom to pass as well. They may not be very long, but sometimes you just need to hear a message, and you'll be hearing those as well soon. Look out for episode 3, and we have a lot more wonderful content coming soon. I appreciate you tuning in to me and listening to me. Thank you for your time. Much love.